about the fallout between Daniel Dubois and his trainer, new team, the father. Listen, none of this is my business ultimately, but people message me to hear my thoughts. And for some reason, even though I'm not involved in the sport of boxing and I report on it at times, I still seem to know what's going on. I, I'm in a completely different sport, but yet I have calls come through, I have people inform me of what's going on. I'm like, but that's because, I tell you why, because I keep good relationships with people. I don't burn bridges. I treat people with the respect that they've given me. And I've always given people respect, always, always. Even if they don't reciprocate that, I give that. So I give that respect. Let's talk about Daniel Dubois and the fallout and what's happened. And I want to take you back to something I said before Daniel Dubois fought Usyk the first time. And I said back then that the best trainer for Daniel Dubois in his career in the UK is Don Charles. I said that Don Charles and him would build a very good relationship. I thought Don would be able to get things out of Daniel Dubois that Shane McGuigan and his other trainer could not do. And I stand on that. And no matter what I may personally think of Don Charles, or anybody else may think of Don Charles, he trained the heavyweight champion of the world. Something that not many trainers in the UK or the world can kind of put their hands up, go in a room and put their hands up to. The heavyweight champion of the world, and made a defense against a guy that many people expected to beat him, which is Dan Dubois, which is Anthony Joshua. I didn't think so. I believed that Dan Dubois was going to knock out Joshua, and so it manifested. So that's the first thing. So Don Charles, heavyweight champion of the world trainer, 2025, 2024, 2025, whatever. Congratulations. And let's put that where it needs to be put. And I believe he did that walking up an escalator that was going down. It's very difficult, and I'm talking as a coach, and I'm talking from almost 25 years experience. It doesn't matter what sport you coach. As far as I'm concerned, there's certain things a coach requires, and one of the things a coach requires is cooperation. They also require support and belief and investment. Investment, not money, but investment in time, that you're brought in to do a job, and the people that bring you in to do a job believe in you. And if they don't believe in you, it's very difficult to do your job, because they end up interfering where they should not be interfering. They end up criticizing every little thing you do, they'll criticize. And as soon as they can throw you out the door, they will. Let me tell you that firsthand. And there could be various reasons because of that. And people can have an idea in their head that can stay in their head until it's challenged. And they can have a philosophy that, oh, this is the way a trainer should train, or that's the way a trainer should train, or this is the way it should be done, without themselves actually understanding the dynamics of what it takes to be a great coach, or what it takes to be, in this case, the best interest for your son. Not your best interest, because it's your son that's getting in there and fighting. And I think because of the dynamics, those dynamics, which are quite clear, the first time I have ever heard Daniel Dubois say thank you to Don Charles, ever, was when he's saying he's departing from him. Now, where does that come from? They say leadership starts at the top, right? And then it stems down. So if the father didn't have a high opinion of the trainer, then that stems down into the son. So whatever Don was trying to teach, only 50% of it was going in, if that. And you think about, a pie chart over 3 years, maybe 50% of what Don was trying to teach Daniel was going in. And if, I don't know how to put this, but distractions don't help. And Don, I see, when I look at Don Charles, I understand the passion when you want to do so good at something and you want to prove people wrong, but at the same time you love what you do, and you have an idea that if I do this, and this, it will bring me this. I.e., if I get Daniel training this way and we do this for Daniel, we accommodate Daniel this way and we accommodate him that way, it will produce the result. And the result is to become a heavyweight champion of the world, which is what he did, despite the challenges and not being backed. But I'd heard rumours that they wanted to get rid of Don Charles a long time ago. That's what I heard. I don't know how those rumours are true, but it seems to be manifesting now in what's happening. Look, boxing world, a lot of people don't like truth. They like selected truth. Selected truth is where they will listen to somebody, they'd rather listen to somebody that lied to them and shake their head and nod their head than actually listen to somebody who'll tell you the bitter truth, but they just don't want to hear it from you or me. It's never a good feeling when you've invested such time and energy into a project for it just to be ripped from under your feet. Which is why I believe when you build your own, then nobody can come along and take it away from you. So, Don would have defended the stuff that happened, that gathering. He defended it. So, when you defend something that deep down you know is not right, and you defend it, and the world are watching and asking the question, well, what was going on here? You were the trainer involved. Don won't now be remembered for the heavyweight champion of the world. His name will now be muddied with that party and being on TV and saying, well, it worked for the Anthony Joshua fight, so, but it still wasn't right. It still wasn't right. It may have been right to satisfy the needs of others that felt that was a justified decision, but it wasn't right. It wasn't. No professional athlete can perform under those circumstances consistently and get the results. Arguably, Joshua was beaten before he got in the ring against Dubois. But you're looking at Usyk, who's an all-time great, in my opinion. And you have to be every inch you can get out of your fighter. Sleeping, eating, training, mental focus. You need to get every inch you can. And for me, I'm just putting it out there. The moment that Don sat down and he turned to Usyk and he asked him questions about his faith and that he's a liar and all this stuff. Once he started talking about that stuff, I looked at it on and said, you know what? That's finished. Finished. Because once he uttered those words, I knew Usyk was going to come out. I knew Usyk was going to go on a seek and destroy mission. And what happened? It happened. Let me take you back to something I said, for those of you who didn't hear it. I said something before the Usyk fight. Well, before the second Usyk fight, yeah? Don has done a good job in rehabilitating Daniel Dubois from the Usyk fight. And I said, 2-3 fights from now, we'll see what Don has done with Daniel Dubois. And people will criticize Don and say, well, he didn't do this and he didn't do that. Now, could you have done better in the circumstances that he was under? Now, as far as I'm concerned, if you're not supported, the environment is never going to be. It's like you try walking up an elevator, an escalator. Escalator's going down. You'd much easily walk up the escalator, go up the escalators, going the same direction. You're going the opposite direction, and that's what I'm sure it was for him. Now, I said I'm not defending Don in terms of what he said, because what he said there for me was the beginning, was the end right there before the fight happened. Right there when he made that statement, I said, right, you know what? That's it. That is it, because you've said something there that's going to inspire a fighter to come out. I could see that, and I would if I were close to Don and I could get on the phone and say, Don, don't even go there. Don't even say those things. I know Usyk. I studied Usyk before people knew about Usyk. I was watching Usyk in that sense, and obviously I knew his trainer, so I knew the ins and outs of Usyk, stuff that was on off camera. I sort of knew about Usyk. I know that's not the type of thing you say to a guy like that. So it was for me a tactical error, a backfiring almost. So, but I hope in all this experience, in all this situation, we all talk about fighters improving and fighters making adjustments. I hope that in all this experience that's happened for Don now, I hope he's able to go back and think about and reflect on what's happened in a non-emotional way, because emotions can get in the way and cloud our vision into the things we say and emotions. And when we speak with emotion, often things are said and said on the spur of the moment, rather than we take the moment to think about it and take 10 seconds to, or a minute to calm down and say, listen, should I really be saying this? Is this the way I want to be presented to public? Is this the way that I want to be viewed or read or understood, particularly in media and social media? To be so careful. Nobody's perfect. I'm not suggesting that for 1 second, but what I am saying is that lessons definitely need to be learnt moving forward. You've trained a heavyweight champion. For me, if I'm advising Don now, I would say to Don, you know what? You've trained a heavyweight champion of the world. What about now taking your services abroad? What I mean by that is training, and he's got Tony Yoka, getting some other fighters from America and bringing them over and rehabilitating some fighters from America. Why not? America want a heavyweight champion of the world. Why not rehabilitate? Why not work with some fighters? I mean, why not? I'd like to see Don do that. Some good fighters. He can do it now. He could say he's heavyweight champion. He's trained a heavyweight champion of the world. Regardless of what anybody says, he's got that in his resume. So I'd like to see him train a lot more international fighters, named fighters. It would be great for him. Now, I also made a statement in the second fight to Usyk versus Dubois too. I said this, and this is not being disrespectful. This is just how I saw it. Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty together again. Now I said that, and I stand on that. And this is what it means. Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall. Heavyweight champion of the world. Well, that's where Daniel Dubois was. He was on the wall, top of the wall, right? But what was on that wall at the time is some things that were being said to him, which were said to boost his confidence and to make him be assertive and all this stuff, which was good. And it worked with him for the Joshua fight and the Miller fight and the Herkovich fight. That's fine. But when we got to the Usyk fight now, it's a different level again. And Humpty fell off the wall and had a great fall. We've seen the great fall. It wasn't just that he got beat by Usyk. It's in the manner he got knocked out by Usyk, right? The manner he got knocked out by Usyk and what led up to that great fall. Everything. So Humpty Dumpty's had that great fall. Now listen to this part where we are now. All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty together again. Now, I've had a lot of people talking about Daniel Dubois. He's young, he can come back. We're going to get a new trainer in. We've got a new manager in. Listen to me. Listen to me. You're getting employed to do a job, right? The new manager, the new trainer, they're all getting paid to do a job. And it's the former heavyweight champion of the world. There's much more money to make from the heavyweight champion or the former heavyweight champion of the world than it is the middleweight champion or the lightweight champion. Let's not fool ourselves about this, right? And it's not just down to money. Obviously, it's professionalism as well, right? So these people are paid to do a job. They're the professional. They're experts. Okay, I get it. But there's a reason why Shane McGuigan wasn't as successful as um, Don Charles. But again, maybe Shane McGuigan didn't have the tolerance level to what Don would have had, and probably Shane didn't have the cultural. Shane, always training before, didn't have the cultural understanding that Don had, that's the best way to say it, cultural understanding. And I believe he's now going to Tony Sims. And whilst Tony Sims is a good trainer, and it's not for me to say he's not a good trainer, the cultural understanding that Don has with Daniel Dubois will not be there with Tony Sims. Some would say, well, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. But I tell you now, it's not the training and the physical things they need to worry about with Daniel. It is the mental and emotional. Remember, Daniel's been taken to the highest of the high, being heavyweight champion of the world. And now he's come to lows of the low point, which is getting knocked out by Usyk. When he got beat by Usyk the first time round, he wasn't expected to win, and there was no hype train behind him. When he's now gone into the rematch at home against Usyk, and to get flattened the way he got flattened by Usyk, like a proper knockout defeat, you've got to rebuild that confidence. And he's been flattened now, right? He's been knocked out. And the thing is, people can come back from a knockout defeat. Yeah, they can. But does he even want to box? What is his motivation to fight? Oh, Daniel wants to be the heavyweight champion of the world. He wants to be a two-time. Does he want to be two-time heavyweight champion of the world? Who said that? Oh, Daniel wants to make changes. Did he say that? Did Daniel say that? Or somebody else orchestrating that from behind? Because it seems to me that these changes, now, if these changes are sincere, what happens is the manager is given full autonomy in terms of how Daniel's career will move. There'll be no consultant with the father. The trainer and the trainer and the manager will work together, and the father will take a back seat. Is that going to happen? Unlikely. So, different faces, same situation. And those faces probably will not allow what's happened previously. I'll say it now. It don't matter who they bring in, because I still think Don is the best thing for Daniel Dubois. He fits with Daniel Dubois. It's not happening. You might as well kiss goodbye to the fact of Daniel Dubois going on to be the fighter he potentially could have been. I don't care what your plan is to give him a few soft fights. You let everyone believe that he's got the punching power and he's gonna do well. It's all right. Fool the public into believing those things. Oh, Daniel's looking good. Until Daniel meets someone again who hits him on the chops. And like I said this before in the fight, when Usyk hit Daniel, it was very different to when Miller and Herkovich and Joshua. They're three the same type of fighter, flat-footed and not very fast of hand in comparison to Usyk. And Usyk was inspired by the statements that was made about him. So we know what's going to the whole rehabilitation program, get him in fighting guys that you expected to knock over, and then he has to step up. I tell you what this will remind me of. This will remind me of David Price. When David Price got knocked over by Tony Thompson, right? And they were doing the rehabilitation process, and they brought in a new trainer, and they brought another trainer in. I said, this ain't going nowhere. This ain't going nowhere. And where did it go? A whole load of nowhere. Difference between Dubois and Price, obviously, is Dubois has gone on to be a world champion. And that's the difference there. But ultimately, if they don't fix this, the mindset, you can do all the handwork and all the pad work and all the physical training. Daniel's never been out of shape. Daniel's never been like he trains well. He's constantly pro in that sense, but it's the mental setup. And will Tony Sims be able to engage Daniel in a manner that's necessary to get the best out of him and do better than Don Charles? Highly unlikely. And he'll knock a few guys over and they go, wow, Tony Sims is doing a great job. Don't get fooled into that rubbish, man. Because that's just covering over the cracks until somebody comes in and wants to really Daniel. And then when that happens, you'll see it manifests itself again. I'm not casting, I'm not being a hater here. There's no reason for me to hate Daniel Dubois. But I think in situations like this, we're very quick to cover over by just bringing some names in. Oh, we're bringing Sam Jones in. Oh, Sam will bring in because Daniel is funny to listen to, and people kind of laugh at Daniel at times sneakily. I think Sam Jones will come in to articulate and will stand to defend Daniel. You'll see that even in the TalkSport interview, he was not on the back foot. He was very much on the front foot with Simon Jordan in the TalkSport interview. And I understand it. That's his job, to defend and to push these people back. You know, he's now going to be the guy who's going to be the battering ram. In other words, when everyone throws a crap try to throw the crap at Daniel Dubois and his team, Sam Jones is going to say, nope, I'm not standing there. Oh, don't worry, I'm going to be the shield. I'll be the human shield. Pay me well, I'll be human shield. When he goes to press conferences, he'll be the one that's doing all the talking. Daniel will just sit there and he'll do all the vocalizing. Who we want to say, oh yeah, we're coming, are we going to knock you out? Are we going to do this? Sam's very good at that. Sam's very good, so I get why they've got Sam in. He's a very good talker, Sam. Very good, very, very good. And he will articulate his views in a manner that will bring interest. I just hope he doesn't make the same mistakes that the former trainer did. And Tony Sims, yeah, he'll do his job. He'll train Daniel. But ultimately, like I said, when he gets hit on the chops by somebody who's got some intention to win, we'll see if he doesn't want to be boxing, which is even worse, if he doesn't want to be boxing, and he's just doing it to please his father, then, yeah, you know, because the way he got knocked out and he got up and walked across to the corner afterwards, all the vibes there for me were not great. The word quitter, I've heard this word quitter, but if you don't want to be there in the first place, right, then, like, that party that was going on the other day, I saw the other video, Daniel's just standing there like, what the hell's going on around me? What is this? He just looked like a stranger who turned up to a party. Even the party was meant to be for him. And these decisions being made are meant to be for him. Well, I don't know. Are they in the best interest for him? And what is the plan? What are you looking for? What are you looking to improve? What is the new trainer going to give that the old trainer couldn't give? But that's what I want to know. Like, it's not to knock one trainer to praise another trainer, but what are you trained Anthony Joshua? Is that it? I don't know. What is it that you think is going to give Daniel the edge? Because obviously that's why you change your trainer, right? To give the edge. What was wrong with the last manager that you've now got this manager? What's the edge? What's the thinking behind it? Are we just doing it because their names. I will do it because there's some logical thinking here. I get the Sam Jones thing, articulation and viewership and yeah, and Sam will stand up and say what's right and what's wrong, and he will say what he's got to say, and that's great. And he'll be definitely more vocal than the manager Daniel had before. I get that one. Tony Sims, why? Why Tony Sims? Why not? I don't know. Jamie Moore. Why not Dave Colwell? God, I don't know. Why not? What's this guy? Joe Gallagher. Why Tony Sims? I'm not saying Tony Sims is not a good trainer now. That's not. But why have you picked that particular trainer? And it's not even within like the matchroom. It's not even in the Frank Warren set of trainers. It's over into a matchroom gym. What's the strategic thinking behind that? I don't know, and it's not my business. And I hope to God that Daniel Dubois does not fulfill the things I've said. And I hope to God that they are able to connect with him in a manner far better than the previous trainer. But I have my huge reservations. And the other thing I would say is, what would happen with Don if he had the full support? Because I remember saying something in a previous video that, hey, if things go wrong here, he'll get the sack for the Usyk fight. And I mentioned talking before about Don and how important it was to Daniel Dubois. Well, you never really understand the value of someone until you need them. So, like I said, I hope Don can move on from this very quickly. And whilst he was defending a fighter, in my opinion, that never ever thanked him, apart from when he's saying goodbye to him on camera, I find that it's quite painful. It sort of reminded me of when Usyk was with Uncle Bashir, and Uncle Bashir would tell me, "Oh, this guy, he's like a son to me, and he's like this, and he's like that," and I said, "Uncle, watch it." And one day, I got a text message, no more. And that, unfortunately, is when we as coaches get invested. I don't know, over investment, but we get invested to the point where we put people before ourselves. I've done it. I know what it feels like. And it's a horrible feeling when you feel almost betrayed. It's like a stab in the heart. But this is another reason why I feel that boxing trainers should have contracts. 3-fight deals, 5-fight deals, they should have contracts. Because promoters get contracts, managers have contracts. I believe that trainers should have contracts as well. Because trainers a coach needs 3 to 5 matches or to see how the player or the fighter is improving. It's not just one fight. So to see the changes of it, it's normally 3 to 5 fights. Just like as a cricket coach is what I do. I would have a fight. I would have a player. I would look at him over. I say, look, I'm coaching you now, but I need about 5 games to see that improvement in you. When I'm doing a coaching, so say, listen, I'm going to coach you for 10 sessions, and after the 10 sessions, then judge me. Don't judge me on 2 sessions. There are going to be days you don't feel great. There are going to be days that, things will click, and some days things won't click. So you need that time, and you need to give yourself that time, and you and that fighter, participant, group, team need time to grow. So Yeah, I might be rambling a bit here, but it's sad to see such things happen. But this is the way of sport and life. Um, but like I said, I hope Don. I'm sure he will bounce back. He's got Tony Oka now, but I just hope this, and I hope people can just see that it's easy. It's very easy to have. I don't know how to phrase this. When you have to fight for everything and nothing's handed to you, you find creative ways of achieving what you need to achieve. When everything's given to you and handed to you, you don't have to think much. You don't have to stretch yourself and put yourself in uncomfortable positions. But when you don't have much and you have a passion to do something, you will stretch yourself, you will push yourself, you'll put yourself in uncomfortable positions just to get what you need to get to. And that's the difference between a grassroots trainer that has had to fight and then makes that breakthrough to the top, rather than that other trainer that just is handed good fighters and they just work with that. There's the difference. Manufactured and organic. Anyway, I've rambled enough. Like I said, let's see what happens next. Don't forget to rate, subscribe, and leave your comments as always. This has been BWTM Sports Gaming, and we're out. Take care.